What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. So we got some details here about the quote big beautiful bill, which includes multiple different things. We'll go over some SNAP details here in this big beautiful bill, as well as $4,000 for seniors. We'll go over the details of that here in this bill. Now remember, this bill has already passed the House, but may or will require changes from both the Senate and may have to go back to the House for changes here as well. But let me give you the details here of what we know here going on here right now. So we're gonna jump right in. We are live right now here on the YouTube It's Jimmy Show. Let me know if you can see and hear me. Type yes in the chat. Let me know where you're tuning in from. You can let me know your city, state, or even your country, as we have people tuning in here from all around the globe. Don't forget to hit that like button for me here. And if you haven't yet, subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos. It's completely free to do so. Okay, so President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, the Republicans are going to pass this bill completely on their own. That's what they did in the House. And it's going to go through some changes here potentially in the Senate. It may need to go back to the House. The Senate parliamentarian, which is basically just a rule maker, may require some changes in the House as well. So we got some changes being made. Let me show you some of the details we know here. Take a look. Senate Republicans rolled out a suite of proposed changes to the big beautiful bill, including SNAP changes, Supplemental Nutritional Assistance Program, changes as a key component of President Donald Trump's, quote, big beautiful bill. But it dials back some of the proposals sought by the House that drew party concerns, intra-party concerns, because Republicans are voting for this. Democrats are just going to vote no because it's a Republican bill. They're just doing that based on principles, okay? The new legislative text from the Senate will require states to cover some of the cost of SNAP benefits. So that is one big change here, which are currently completely funded by the federal government. And some states are not going to like this, which may lead to some states could stop SNAP benefits if this Republican bill becomes a priority, or becomes a reality, because the reality of this is that some states might not want to pay some of the bill, okay? So you can see the headline here, states could stop SNAP benefits, also known as food stamps, if Republican bill becomes a reality, which ultimately this bill will probably end up passing one way or another, because Republicans are going to pass this on their own because they have control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency, okay? So Republicans pushes plan to end food stamp overpayments as well to cut spending in big, beautiful bill. So one of the things in this bill is they want to get rid of overpayments. Senator Joni Ernst, from a Republican from Iowa, is rolling out a series of measures to cut spending, which is one of the themes in this bill, including a proposal to end mismanagement in the SNAP program, commonly known as food stamps. In a meeting with colleagues, Ernst is pushing for snap back inaccurate SNAP payments, a bill that tackles mismanagement in the food stamp programs, which costs taxpayers close to $1 billion a month. Quote, bureaucratic blunders, lax oversight, and sloppy state management are leaving billions on the table, she said in a statement. Quote, we need to snap back overpayments, hold states accountable, and ensure every error is counted, no exceptions. With $36 trillion in debt, we cannot afford to continue allowing billions in SNAP errors to be swept under the rug. The snap back inaccurate SNAP payments would tackle overpayments, which are benefits paid to ineligible recipients or to eligible houses beyond legal limits. By ineligible recipients, they basically mean people that are getting SNAP benefits that shouldn't be getting SNAP benefits, or maybe are receiving SNAP benefits. They applied for SNAP benefits, but then they're going to later find that the system says they shouldn't be receiving SNAP benefits. Okay, so take that into consideration. Over a decade, this bill could produce $91 billion in savings for taxpayers. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, this proposes that states with a higher payment of error rates, that the states will then have to cover a greater share of the benefits costs. If the state's error rate is 6% or higher, states would be subject to a sliding scale that would see their share of the payments for the state would range between 5 to 15%. By contrast, the House's bill calls for all states to cover 5% of the cost of the SNAP payments. So, Trump's tax agenda last month, with states that had higher payment error rates having to pay anywhere between 15 to 25%. All of this, or any of this, could lead to some states leading to them stopping SNAP benefits because they might not be able to afford it in the future. So I will keep you up to date. And really quick, I want to share how folks are saving thousands on their Medicare and Medicare Advantage with my partner, Chapter Medicare. Nobody does Medicare how they do. They save people tons of money, on average $1,100 back in your pocket because of their system. And Medicare is a mess. But Chapter has advisors that can help you through all the systems and all the changes that have been happening here recently. They listen, they compare every single plan, and with this can mean a lot of savings for you. Like Ray, who commented here on one of my videos that he says he saved over $1,200 with just one phone call to Chapter. He says, the advice Chapter gave me saved over $1,240. Thank you, Chapter, for your advice. Another comment says, Tim, he shared they found a better plan for him and he saved a lot of money. And I get comments like this all the time. And the best part is using Chapter Medicare is 100% free. And they could save you or a loved one who needs Medicare soon or is already on Medicare. See if they can find you a better plan that might save you or could put benefits back in your pocket a lot of money. Now, whether it's Medicare, Medicare Supplement, Medicare Part D, Medicare Advantage, they will find the plan that fits your needs. So call this phone number on the screen or click that link down below in the pinned comment and see if they can get you or your loved one a much better plan. Now, this is in addition to the Republicans' bill that cuts Medicaid by almost $900 billion in addition to the SNAP cuts. So I'll keep you up to date here on that as well. Now, we're also seeing Social Security claims skyrocket, which is not a good thing for Social Security. And the reason for this is a lot of people are literally scared that Social Security is going to run out of money, which current data shows that it's going to run out of money in as little as 8 years. And people are not sure of Social Security. So far this year, individual retirement claims are up by 13% over the same period last year, according to analysis by the Urban Institute, a nonpartisan think tank. Social Security payments are sent to around 70 million Americans every month. If this trend continues, Social Security is on pace to receive nearly 4 million online retirement claims in the fiscal year of this year alone. And that is significant because Social Security is running out of money faster than ever. And they're now they have more people on Social Security than ever, 70 million Americans. Also, the rise in claims could be attributed to several reasons. The most significant change is to the Social Security Fairness Act as well. So you got to take that into consideration. Those are people that were due these Social Security benefits because they paid into them, but then they also had a government pension, and they were honestly unfairly not able to claim Social Security, and the new law has been changed. And one of the main reasons why Social Security is running out of money is that there's fewer workers to people retired. Back in 1965, there was 4 workers per beneficiary, or 4 workers per person who was collecting benefits, retired benefits. Now in 2025, there's only 2.7 workers per person retired. Okay, so that's, nearing, what is that, about a third less. Okay, and you can see this continues to keep going down. Why is this? Is this because people just simply don't want to work? You guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments section. Why do we keep seeing less workers? Is it because baby boomers are retiring? Is it just we're seeing more percentage of the population retire? Or is it because we're seeing less people actually want to work? You guys can let me know your thoughts here in the comments section. You also can see here, by the end of this century, the projections are as low as, the middle projection is as low as 2.1 workers per retired person, which would be half of what it was in 1965, basically 2 workers for every retired person, or as low as 1.5 workers for every retired person. And there simply won't be enough people working to pay for the retired person. There simply won't be enough money to fund all the retired people. There won't be enough coming into the system to pay for all the retired people and all the benefits. You can see here the main issue with Social Security's retirement program, whose costs have exceeded its income every year since 2021. The gap, which was $70 billion in 2023, is projected to balloon to $414 billion in 2033. To pay its promised benefits, the retirement program has begun cashing in its massive stash of U.S. Treasury securities accumulated in its trust fund. Also, you got to remember here that wages we made back in the day, when you took a portion of that, versus the wages today, our wages today are much higher. When I started working, I'm 44 years old. When I started working at age 14, well, the minimum wage back then was $4.25. Let me know what minimum wage was, or what your first wage was when you started working. Let me know in the comments section. I made $4.25 at age 14. I worked at an amusement park, and I was a sweeper, and I worked in the summers at age 14, age 15, and age 16. I made $4.25. I don't know if I made a little bit more at age 16. I can't remember. But when they took my Social Security out of there at age 14, they were taking out, quarters and pennies, 50 cents and stuff like that. So now, at age 44, when I'm making significantly more money, and throughout, all these years when I've had multiple different businesses, they're taking out a lot more than a quarter out of my, for Social Security. And same thing with everybody today, when, people working at McDonald's are making $20, $15, $20 an hour. Remember, the minimum wage in California for fast food workers is $20 an hour for fast food workers. And here in Ohio at McDonald's, they have a sign hiring at $16 an hour at McDonald's versus $4.25 when I worked there. So they're paying out, and remember, it's just money is a lot more money than it was, it's a lot more expensive than it was today. So remember, we paid into the system back then pennies and quarters. But now the Social Security is paying out way more in today's dollars than we paid, in back then. So, a lot of people always say, oh, I just want to get the money out that I paid in. Well, we paid in quarters. You don't want to get that out. You want to get everything you want to get everything plus interest and stuff. You want to get today's money out. Well, that's a lot more money, right? And guess what? Social Security has a lot of mouths to feed, not as many people paying into the system as they used to, and it's been slowly running out of money for many, many years, and it's only got, well, a few years left until it's going to run out of money. So something's got to give. They got to make changes or something's going to happen. So also in President Donald Trump's big, beautiful bill, additional $4,000 for seniors. In fact, if you're a married couple, it could be $8,000. So how will this work? Well, here's the details. And of course, this still needs to be passed and this still could be changed. This has been passed in the House. Changes are likely going to be made in the Senate. But how will this work? So, well, there's a lot of things in this bill, including the bill's new tax cuts include no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on car loan interest if it's an American-made car, I believe, and an additional deduction for seniors. There's also the $2,500 child tax credit, the new $1,000 Trump savings accounts, which I covered here on this channel. I'm keeping you up to date here on all these things, and the lower tax brackets for basically all tax brackets, which is a very, very big thing. H.R. 1, this bill, to Trump's big, beautiful bill, will permanently extend the double standard deduction for this bill, currently scheduled to revert to approximately half its current amount for 2025. So this will double the standard deduction. It will also provide an extra inflation adjustment for the standard deduction and add $1,000 to the deduction for single taxpayers and $2,000 for married couples from 2025 to 2028. Although these changes are projected to cost $1.3 trillion from 2025 to 2034. On top of the standard deduction, that's for average everyday people, okay? This is why there's huge tax breaks in here for Americans. On top of these standard deductions, it will add an additional $4,000 deduction per individual for over the age of 65. Okay, so for seniors, $4,000 per senior. So if you're a married couple, it's $8,000. Okay, $8,000 for a married couple because it's per individual. Per individual. This is why there are serious tax deductions in here. This is literally like the largest tax deduction and the largest. Lower taxes is a good thing, right? I don't think many people want to pay higher taxes. If we look at this chart here, the standard deduction, which is what most people take, you can see here the standard deduction for singled and married people. The current law is $15,000. It's now going up to $16,000. And for 2026, it's going up to $16,500 for normal people. For married people, $33,100, which was $32,000. And an additional $4,000 for seniors over the age of 65 and $8,000 for a married couple. So it's $4,000 per person. So less taxes sounds like a good thing, but you can let me know your thoughts here in the comments, and I'll keep you up to date with everything going on here on a daily basis. So make sure to share this video with anybody that needs to hear this information, and subscribe down below so you don't miss out on future videos. Click the bell icon to get notifications and help me reach 500,000 subscribers. Click here to see details about Trump's $1,000 savings accounts and more details in that video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the